to you by Kellogg's. Kellogg, Kellogg's, meant for you.
Hey everyone, welcome to Vinyl Fetish. That was our commercial announcement. We're in the countdown or the count of the 100 albums that matter, the 100 albums that should be in your record collection if you're a vinyl collector. Today's album is an album that's near and dear to my heart so much. It might be a surprise to people who are true fans of rock history. This shouldn't be a surprise. Today we're talking about the Monkees' third album, came out the spring of 1967, late spring, Monkees' Headquarters. This album is significant for reasons you might not know. You know, in 1966, television networks assembled this band to be like the Beatles, and they were inspired by like A Hard Day's Night and Help and the kind of madcap antics that the Beatles portrayed on film. And when they put a TV show together, they had casting calls, and they assembled this kind of motley crew of young people together and forged them into the prefab four, the Monkees, and the show immediately became a huge success. The first album had a huge #1 hit, Last Train to Clarksville. It came out in 66. In early 67, they had another huge album, and they were just dominating the charts. But the problem with those records is the actual four members of the Monkees, Mickey Dolenz, Peter Tork, Michael Nesmith, and Davy Jones, didn't really have a lot to do. They just sort of showed up and sang. Maybe Mike Nesmith played guitar on a few bits, but it's mostly session musicians and outside writers. And, these four guys were serious about their music, and they were really desiring to take over their own music, to record their own music. Mickey Dolenz learned to play the drums to be in the Monkees, and they really wanted to make a record where they were playing the music. The producer, a guy named Don Kirshner, who some of you will remember if you were around in the 70s, was like, no, we have a formula, we have all these great session musicians. Some of them were like the Wrecking Crew folks. I mean, some of the best session musicians in the business. Glenn Campbell played on Monkees. He was a Monkee. And they said, no, we're going to record a couple songs, and to show you that we can actually play our instruments and make our own records. And Don Kirshner still said no, and the band basically said at the end of the first season, we're going to walk. We're going to quit this show unless you let us make our own record. Don Kirshner was fired by the producers of the show, and the Monkees got to kind of put together their own record, and this is the result. This is my copy on vinyl, autographed by Peter Tork. He had a solo touring band in the 80s called the Peter Tork Project. They played at a club called 688, where I was the DJ that night, and I got Peter Tork to sign my Monkees Headquarters album. Rest in peace, Peter. The result was the second album of 3 albums they released in 67, Headquarters, and this album immediately went to #1. It was only displaced by another band called the Beatles and their album Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. And in fact, this was #2 for multiple weeks behind Sgt. Pepper's during the summer of 67, the Summer of Love. So in many ways, along with Sgt. Pepper's, Monkees Headquarters is the soundtrack to Summer of Love. It has some of their best music, including You Just May Be the One, which Mickey Dolenz always called Old Nimbus. All Men Must. Had this great Mike Nesmith song with these sweeping bridges, and it's really great on this because everything you hear on it is the Monkees, except for the bass, which is mostly played by Chip Douglas, who produced it. All the guitars are played by Peter and Michael, and the drums are played by Mickey and Davy Jones on tambourine. All the backing vocals, all Monkees. 2 of the great songs that we associate with the Monkees, For Pete's Sake, written by Peter Tork, which became the song played at the end of the TV series in the second and final season, and Randy Scouse Git, a song written by Mickey Dolenz, which was about their meeting with the Beatles in England during the recording of Sgt. Pepper's, the Four Kings of EMI. And it's an anti-war song. They were doing this kind of before anybody else in the pop world was doing anti-war songs. These guys on this silly TV show were doing these, kind of aggressive anti-war songs like Randy Scouse Git. There's also Zilch, which is this weird wordplay. This is 18 months before the Beatles' White Album and Revolution #9. The Monkees were already doing this type of experiment. Lots of different types of genre on here, from country to kind of like more aggressive rock. The Mr. Webster is kind of like the Richard Cory, Smithers Jones, if you know the Jam, the sort of cautionary tale of the capitalist. But also Davy Jones. I mean, Davy Jones was sort of packaged as the cuddly toy boy who fell in love at the drop of a hat, and his songs on this album are kind of dark and somber, especially Shades of Grey. Only Shades of Grey, which is sung with Peter Tork, which is, in this land where everything is very black and white, to be singing about nuance was a little bit advanced for a TV show band. This record, in a way, was their pinnacle, but was followed by their third album, Pisces, Aquarius, Capricorn, and Jones. Pleasant Valley Sunday, also a great album. But they kind of went back to the formula of working with studio musicians for the rest of the duration. They had one more sort of full band after that, and then the soundtrack to Head, and then the show was canceled, and they were kind of floating around, trying to stay alive after that. One of their reunions records, Just Us in 1996, was also a return to form where they're just the only people playing on the band. It's kind of a crappy, disappointing record, but it was at least an attempt to recapture what they did on this record. Really important record, something that symbolizes the spirit of '67, and it's super, just a super great record. It just sounds better and better every time I listen to it, and I've been listening to this record since I was a kid. Speaking of kids, I thought I'd turn over the reins. I talk about all these records all the time. I think the biggest Monkee fan in the house should talk about it. Somebody who's been obsessed with the Monkees over the last year. We're gonna turn this over now to Cozy Blazak for her take on Monkees headquarters. Take it away, Cozy.
This is Cozy's Monkee video. You know what? This boat is like driving me crazy. I'm gonna take it out. I don't need that. Go on the floor. So today we're gonna be talking about this album, The Monkees Headquarters, signed by Peter Tork right here. Kind of hard to read. So let's get started. So here it is. My dad took it out for me. So it's a very pretty, cover. Very pretty. Here's the back. Signed by Peter Tork. And he also got it signed by this other guy named Alan Curl. I don't know. He told me he doesn't know who it is. And some people, they usually thought that I liked pop music, like Ariana Grande and stuff like that. But I really don't. It's just I'm into the Monkees because I don't know, I'm more into classic music, like the Beatles. How am I supposed to put this back? Technical difficulties. Randall! So I got my dad to put it back in. Sorry, we had to kind of edit that out because it was very technical difficult. Randy's Scouse get. Yeah, my dad's name is on here actually. His name is right here. Randy. Then we have Shades of Grey. I usually listen to that one during bedtime. I like bedtime, and so will you. Only shades of grey.
Calling Alameda. China Clipper calling Alameda. Zilch. China Clipper calling Alameda.
I really like this one because it's so chaotic. You know what? I should stop bending down. You can't see my face. Ooh. It's just chaos. I love it. Absolutely. Probably my favorite Monkee is, I don't really know. I think it's Davy. No, it's Peter. Yes. Which is this guy. So, yay. No offense to those other Monkees out there, but... So, you should really get this record. Not just because I like Monkees, because you will too. They're great. Just great. Every one of you must love the Monkees.
Well, thanks, Cozy. That was great. I'm going to let you do more of these. She knows her music. She knows her music, and I'm glad to get her take on Monkees Headquarters. All right, so that's our take on the Monkees. Next time, we've got a very special record. There's a little outside influence in this, and I'm just going to give you a teaser. It's by a contemporary female artist named Taylor Swift. That's right. It had to happen sooner or later. We're going to talk about Taylor Swift here in the Vinyl Attic on Vinyl Fetish. So stick around for that. That's going to be a great one. I want to thank Cozy. I want to thank the Monkees for putting out such great music that sustains us over the decades. And I want to thank Mickey Dolenz for keeping the Monkees' voice alive, the final surviving member. I did see Mickey and Mike Nesmith perform, I guess 2 years ago, a little less than 2 years ago, and got to meet Mike Nesmith shortly before his death. And we just love these guys. They don't get enough credit for the music that they make. So this music matters. This album matters. You matter. Let's talk about it.